right, welcome back to this week's episode of the Kentucky Pharmacist Podcast. We are excited to welcome Tara Modisett from APMS with us this week. So, Tara, I'll turn it over to you and let you do an introduction.
Okay. Thank you very much for the introduction, Tara Modisett, and I'm the director for the Alliance for Patient Medication Safety, PSO, or Patient Safety Organization. It's a mouthful. We call it APMS PSO. And today I wanted to tell you a little bit about, who we are, how we came about, and what we do, and how we can help pharmacies with their continuous quality improvement, quality assurance, whatever you call it, programs. And I'll tell you a little bit about our program as well in that, but a lot of this will be educational, hopefully, and give you some idea of that burning question you may have is, what is a PSO? So we are a nonprofit 501c3 created by the National Alliance of State Pharmacy Associations, or NASPA. And they saw a need for independents and regional chains to have support in their quality improvement programs. There really was not a lot of, it wasn't a turnkey program out there. There wasn't as much support resources that they saw in the early 2000s when everybody was talking about errors in healthcare. So they found this program and made it available for all the state pharmacy associations to let independent pharmacies and regional chains use. And we have around 3,000 pharmacies across the country that use the program. Then later we became a patient safety organization, and I'll talk about that in a little more detail later once I put in context what we do and to understand how a PSO can help independent and regional chain pharmacies. We, a patient safety organization, gives federal protection to quality improvement work. And why would pharmacies, have quality improvement work? Well, every pharmacy has a quality improvement plan. You have final pharmacist checks, you have double checks and double checks and alerts, you have bar scanning technology, you have point of sale rules and regs. So everybody has one. Some pharmacies have ones that are very simple, that are just in their policies and procedures, and some pharmacies are more sophisticated. And what a PSO can do is help you take it to the next level. They can help you fortify it, grow it, understand, and put some more strength behind your current patient safety work. A lot of pharmacies need it for compliance. They want to not only make their pharmacy safer, but they are working with an accreditor, and that you're required to have a quality assurance program. Most Part D or all Part D programs, a lot of insurance companies ask, it's in the Part D regs that you need to have a quality improvement program. Whether they check on that really detailed depends on if the insurance company asks for it. Some insurance companies you have to check off that you have a quality improvement program. And then there's 17 states that have very specific requirements for continuous quality improvement programs. I don't believe your state is one. I think it's just part of operations.
Right. I think if I am correct, I believe there are certain situations where you have to have a continuous quality improvement program around electronic supervision and some of our telework regs. I know they've been making, our board of pharmacy has made some updates to that reg here recently, and I know that was part of their conversation. So even if it's not a requirement, it is certainly best practice, and I think it seems to be a focus of the board and as a promulgate new regs. So, but certainly you don't, I guess if I'm understanding correctly, you don't necessarily have to have a PSO to have a quality improvement program. but it makes it certainly better, right?
Right. And so, like I said, everybody should have, every pharmacy has one. I mean, you've got all those policies and procedures and um, systems that work together to improve quality. It's just a PSO can help take you to that next level. Um, what, you know, what a PSO, what we do in our program is we encourage, and any pharmacy can do this as well, but we have a lot of resources and support for the pharmacy to help them build up their program. We advocate that you implement a safe, just culture in your pharmacy where everybody feels empowered to say when things aren't optimal, when they're making a mistake, when they're involved in a mistake. And a safe culture is one that really strives to um, understand that a pharmacy, not just a pharmacy, but the whole healthcare, all healthcare entities are made up of a lot of moving parts. And all these moving parts, the cognitive overlay, the mechanical overlay, all the systems, insurance company, insurance contracts, prior auth, patients, new drugs, training, staff, workforce, all that, all those pieces have to work together. And pharmacies do a great job from taking them from A to B and getting, most of our patients get the right drug and it goes to, everything's correct. But there's always breakdowns because they're in constant flux and there's a lot of stressors and a lot of pieces that can cause a breakdown within those systems. And hospitals have it. Anybody that is involved in healthcare, this applies to business as well. Continuous quality improvement. Businesses that are working, all the pieces have to work together. So what we stress is that humans are involved in errors, but a lot of the errors are involved in breakdowns of the systems that didn't support the humans. So what you look for in a really strong, safe culture is identifying what's helping the human make a mistake. Is it lack of training? Is it checks or double checks? Is it alert fatigue? Is it the environment that the data, yes, we have data entry errors, but is it because there's a lot of distractions and noise? Do we need to move the terminal where they're putting the information in? We have point of sale errors. These are common things. What is our policy? What is our policies and procedures? What do we have in place to ensure that the right patient gets the right drug? We did it right. We want to make sure it goes to the right patient. But if those are happening, what can we put in place to prevent them? And so a continuous quality improvement program looks for those breakdowns and then tries to address them with corrective actions, with discussions among the staff to try to figure out what can we do to keep you from making a mistake. What in our, do we have some workarounds that we put in during COVID that we never went back to our regular policies and procedures? Do we have some, do we have too many alerts? So we have alert fatigue, or did we disable some that we need to enable again? So a pharmacy, in order to get a really good handle on what's going on in the pharmacy, they know errors are happening. A lot of them are near misses. But if you can correct those near misses from happening over and over again, you can really reduce the stress on the workflow. Because if you know that you're getting, there's a breakdown in part, in bagging, you can fix that. If there's a mistake in data entry, it's going through all your checks and all your bounces, getting all the way to that final pharmacist check. And then you have to start over again. That's a lot of work. If you can identify where the weak spots are that need to be tweaked, you can save a lot of time and energy and stress for your pharmacy as well. So where we come in is we have a program that a pharmacy can very quickly go to an on-site portal and log in the day it happened, the day it was discovered, where they think the breakdown happened, when it happened, who discovered it, where was it discovered, not really who, but where was it discovered? Was it discovered in point of sale, or was it discovered in bagging? And it takes all that data that you input, it takes just seconds to do it. And it gives you charts and graphs back so that you can identify trends, whether it's certain drugs. Are they high-risk drugs that are being mixed up? Are they look-alike, sound-alike drugs that are being mixed up? So it gives the pharmacy management tools to figure out where the breakdown in those systems happen. And if you have a safe, just culture, as I talked about a minute ago, where everyone feels empowered and part of the system, and we're not collecting these errors to fire you, we're collecting these errors to find out where the weak spots are so we can train you. Now, if you can't be trained, that's a whole nother ball of wax. But we want to help you to not make a mistake, because no one wants to make a mistake. You don't want to leave the pharmacy and have nightmares at night that you might have missed that high alert drug, or that, a check wasn't in place, or the wrong person got the drug. Nobody wants that, especially in pharmacies where we know these are our friends and neighbors. So if everybody contributes to the collective good of finding out where the breakdowns are so they can be fixed, it really helps. And then what a PSO does, if a pharmacy works with a PSO, think you've got all this data, all these charts and graphs, all these spreadsheets, all these discussions. You want to make sure that's protected. So what a PSO does is put a legal blanket over that work. So if you you can do all of that on your own, but if you work with a PSO, all of that gets wrapped into a legal blanket and it can't be used against you. The root cause analysis, the charts, the graphs, the spreadsheets are all in, a safe space, a legally protected, federally protected safe space. It does not protect the error that reached the patient. The error that reached the patient, all of that is public record. Whatever the patient knows, whatever the patient can, what drug it was, what drug they got, the date, the pharmacy, the name of the, patient, the pharmacist involved, all that's public record, but it protects all the work that you do. And the discussions that you have can't be used against you either. A plaintiff attorney would have to ask the questions, and if they were discussed in that safe space, it's part of the patient safety work product. It resides in that safe space. So what a PSO does is help you set up that legal safe space so you can do this really rich quality work, and everybody that exists within that safe space knows that their discussions, their identity, who reported it, is all protected. So that and it gives a lot of pharmacies a lot of security knowing that, hopefully they don't have to incur that. We also help pharmacies do root cause analysis. That's part of the program. So if there was an error and the board said, we've got a complaint, we want you to, do a root cause analysis or do an investigation, we'll assist the pharmacy in doing that. And when they've done a thorough and credible one, we can give them a letter to give to the board that says, this pharmacy's done their homework. They understand what the root cause of an error was, what some of the contributing factors are, and they've put some corrective actions in there to hopefully prevent this from happening again. So, it kind of gives them a good report letter that they can use.
And it allows pharmacies too to you have a secure way of tracking these things too. Right. So if you see the same error happening over and over, or a group of errors, you have a safe way to document those and and make changes. And to your point, all of that data would not be discoverable because it is protected data. So I definitely think APMS is we're lucky really to have you all within the profession, because you do focus on I'm sure you'll take the largest pharmacy in the United States if they wanted to sign up for your product, but you really focus on those smaller pharmacies, and give a robust platform, to and make that available to small one and two shop operations. So, um, do you all, I guess, how would people learn more about your product? Is it something that they need to reach out to you for? Do they sign up online? Do you work with any of the buying groups? I don't know if you're able to talk about pricing or want to kind of give us an overview of that, and that may not be an option. I don't know.
Yeah, we can, we work with some buying groups. The program, once you're up and running, is $300 a year.
Okay.
So, the, your pharmacy members, I can give you a code and it's 350 the first year. And if they're pharmacy members, they can get, pharmacy association members, they can get the $50 off the first year. The setup year, we'll set them up without that extra $50 charge. And, they can go to our website at medicationsafety.org. They can email us. There's a contact form there. I'd be happy to give them a demo so they can show the charts and graphs. A lot of pharmacies like this because they're doing it anyway. They've got this pad or form that they're filling out, and they've got it here, and then they've got piles of paper in a folder somewhere, or they're trying to do it in an Excel spreadsheet. And part of that $300 is that root cause analysis, as well as any consult. You want us to talk. We've got data from these thousands of pharmacies. So we've put together things like how to avoid point of sale errors. Here's a checklist to look at. Here's some steps that you can implement. You may not be able to afford a fancy point of sale where they have to put in, their last four digits of their phone number, but there's some really proactive questions you can ask and things that you can do within the process to try to reduce those type of errors. And so the $300 is, as we're a nonprofit, we try to keep it really low for pharmacies. And one of the things to understand is that we are really focused on independents and regional chains. Our data cannot be subpoenaed either. It's locked up. It's encrypted. It's carefully protected. We only give out names of pharmacies if they give us permission. So we have some regional chains all over the country, small ones and slightly bigger ones, and we don't give out names unless they ask us. We get permission for them to share if somebody wants a referral or something. Just because people like to do this, and they like to know that there's some really tight. We don't give out mailing lists or anything like that. So, that's what people want to know, that in this day and age, we're not marketing your emails or your contact information. But all the major chains have PSOs. They have component PSOs. I would say almost every hospital in the United States has a PSO.
Sure.
And then there's a lot of little groups. There's over 100 PSOs. They don't get government money. They're just allowed to operate by following all the government rules. We have to follow a lot of, our data safe, encrypted training, all that kind of thing. We have a lot of red tape we have to go through to keep our listing as a PSO.
Yeah, and probably for good reason.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Um, I did want to touch or talk on the Power Portal, and I think that's another great way to demonstrate the value that you bring to the profession. For those that are watching, listening, that may not be familiar. The Power Portal was, I believe, put together by APHA and maybe some others to be a place. Who was the other one?
NASPA, yeah.
NASPA, yeah. For a place for pharmacists to report both good and bad, situations that they found in pharmacies, and that data that they can then compile and look for trends is protected by a PSO, which is you guys, right? So I don't know if you want to talk about how that came about, and maybe just some encouragement for people to utilize that program or that portal.
Yeah, The Power Portal collects workforce and workplace conditions, complaints, that type of thing. It is, APHA and NASPA had have a committee, and they contacted us to build the portal with the idea that people could report to it, and it's truly anonymous. We don't ask for names, but if anybody puts names in there or workplaces or anything like that, we scrub it so that the reports are, chain, independent, long-term care, that type of thing, without calling anybody out. Then the thousands of reports that they get, they're analyzed and sent to APHA, and they actually post them on their on the APHA website. So you can read the analysis of what's been reported, and people, they came to us as a PSO because they knew, well, if I'm going to rant about the workforce conditions at my pharmacy, I don't want my pharmacist, my owner, or the head of the corporation to find out that it's me. So it's very anonymous, and it can't be subpoenaed or used or that type of thing, and it's scrubbed and locked down in our secure vault.
Yeah. Yeah, and maybe we can link that as well in the notes, Clay, just so that people have a link to that. I think the only other, I guess, to kind of to your point, we don't want employers and things to know about these reports. Oftentimes, not too frequently, but I do hear from some policymakers and others that it's a good and a bad thing, because this data is protected, right? So sometimes entities use this as a way to try to bury mistakes, and that's just in my role talking with policymakers, they want more data, right? I want to know how many errors happen. Well, I can't get that to you. Well, why not? Because it's all protected. So it makes our jobs as lobbyists a little more difficult, but all for good reason, I guess. But in some chains and places where maybe work environments have been difficult over the past couple of decades, not a lot of data out there that they're going to self-report. So that's why the Power Portal was needed as a home to keep all of that data. So again, thank you all for working with APHA and NASPA to put that together. Yeah,
well, the reports are very strong. I don't know if you've had a chance to really look at them, but there's a lot of data in there.
Yeah, we probably need to do a better job. I mean, we promoted that for a while, but we've kind of we haven't done a push to get people to utilize that here recently. So this will be a call for us to do that as well. So they are very the reports are very robust, but it's only as good as the data that people give it, right? So we need more people to participate.
That's one thing that we do when we do talk about to boards of pharmacy about, why should we not require errors to be reported? Well, sometimes mandating reports you don't get the information because people weigh whether they want to tell you or not, whereas a PSO can give you a chance to really look at those that reach the patient as well as all your near misses, knowing that that you're going to be able to do something proactive about it and not have it as a punitive type thing. So it's sort of like, if you have the right mindset and you want to set up a good, strong learning culture, it gives you a great opportunity to be able to do that if you work with a PSO.
Yep. I love it and agree on all of that. Well, as we get ready to wrap up here, I don't know if you have any final thoughts, or Clay, any questions from you? No? Okay. Any final thoughts from you, Tara?
No, it's just, if pharmacies are so inclined, they feel like they need one, they want to work on their quality improvement, just know that we are used to working with onesies and small groups, and we make it, we do the training. We're here for support, because that's our mission, to make sure that pharmacists learn about medication errors and good ways to implement strong cultures and reduce risk and reduce harm, because, nobody comes to work wanting to make an error.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think you said if people feel like they need one, I think everybody does need one. So
Yeah,
if
but
it's you or someone else, I think it's a
right.
tool that all pharmacists need to have. And I mean, gee, at the cost, the price point that you're mentioning there, I think that's a no-brainer. So I appreciate you taking the time to talk with me today, and hopefully we'll get this out to KPHA members and others. And if they have any questions, they can reach out to you or myself. We'll include your contact information for them as well.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Sharon.